What's happening, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit. I always come across people who are like, hey, I don't want to start selling on eBay or Amazon or become an entrepreneur because I have to worry about insurance. Big question, big concern that people have is, how am I going to get insurance? How does insurance work if I'm self-employed, if I'm full-time eBay, full-time on Amazon? So I want to cover insurance. Now, I'm going to be talking about some things that I know pretty well, other things that I'm not a huge expert in, so I'm going to rely on some articles down below. Also, I'm not covering Medicare. I'm not talking about retirement plans. If you guys follow me, you know Mama Profit. She sells on Amazon. She does books. That's my mom. Well, she just ended up retiring, so I learned a whole bunch about Medicare and retirement plans. This isn't going to cover any of this. If you're over 26, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you're not on retirement, this is what I'm gonna be talking about in terms of options and my insurance. This isn't legal advice. I don't know. Do I have to give a disclaimer talking about insurance? I don't know. But like I said in one of my other videos, okay, I'm gonna be very clear. I am just a guy on the internet. So please, I'm gonna refer you to some people to talk to. Make sure you get in touch with a broker, okay? Make sure that you get in touch with an insurance agent or a broker. That's what I did, okay? So I believe once you're 26 or older, someone correct me if I'm wrong, you have to hop off your parents' plan. So if you're on your parents', Zach, are you on your parents' insurance plan?
Yes.
What are you, 23?
24.
24. So I think you have 2 years until you get kicked off. That's my videographer behind the camera. But once you do, you're gonna have to get your own plan. Get in touch with an insurance agent or a broker because they're gonna give you all your options. They're gonna tell you all the plans that are available in your area. They're gonna share with you who your providers are. So we have in my area in Connecticut, we have one called Connecticut, which is what I have. They have, I think, Anthem's Blue Cross. They have, I don't know, they have a whole bunch of them. So they'll lay out who the top providers are and then they'll talk about all the different plans. Big thing I wanna talk about, what works for me isn't gonna work for you. What works for you may not work for me. You want to assess your health situation. So if you're on medications, if you're in rough shape, if you're a worrier or always like kind of concerned, like what happens if I'm gonna go to the doctor? Like if you're not gonna be able to sleep at night knowing that you're gonna have like super high deductibles and stuff, then some of this stuff that I touch on right here, which is what I recommend for self-employed people, isn't gonna apply for you. So again, this isn't legal advice or whatever disclaimer I have to give. I'm trying to get through to you guys. You got to assess your own health. For me, I'm a healthy guy. I work out. I don't have any conditions. I'm not on any prescriptions or anything like that. So for me, my main goal for my insurance is to protect against a catastrophe. What happens if I get in a car accident? What happens if I come down with a brain tumor? What happens if something really, 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 really bad happens to me? That's gonna put me in a hospital or have a liability on me that's hundreds of thousands and thousands of dollars. So I went after a high deductible plan. I think it used to fall under like Obamacare. I'm not sure anymore. But what a high deductible plan means is if you want to, it's kind of tough for me to explain, but you have to reach certain limits. So like they're not gonna pay out for certain things unless you hit a certain limit. It might be 5,000, it might be 10,000. I don't know what that is for you. And to be honest, I don't even know like the specifics of this right now. I knew it when I researched it, but I forgot about it. But essentially a high deductible plan means if anything happens, you're gonna have to come out of pocket. Like I'm seeing a chiropractor now. My old plan when I was younger, there'd be like a $30 copay or something. Now everything comes out of my pocket until I reach my limits. I'm not super educated when it comes to all the details of this. So that's why I'm telling you guys, go talk to your broker. But a high deductible plan is typically gonna be the cheapest and it's gonna cost you the most money out of your pocket for things that you need now until you hit your limits. So again, I'm trying to protect against a catastrophe. So for me right now, my plan, I'm 32 years old, is $305 a month. I wish I knew off the top what all the details were, but it's a high deductible plan. I do believe I have a copay when I see a doctor, which is like 40 or 50 bucks. I do believe that I get some benefits with prescriptions and whatnot if I had to like get something over the counter. I do believe I get like one physical per year, but that's about it. I'm not 100% sure, but this is gonna be the way to go for someone who's not super concerned with having to see the doctor all the time and wants to keep their plan somewhat on the cheaper side. One downside to insurance as someone who is self-employed is they're typically, again, I'm not an expert, but I found since 26, each and every year they've been going up and up and up and up and up. And I think that's going to be a continued trend. So I know people who are self-employed who are in their 50s and they're paying upwards to $1,000 to $2,000 a month for insurance, self-employed. So that's one of the downsides of being, an entrepreneur, right? Is you're coming out of pocket for all your insurance. Whereas if you're an employee, typically the way I believe it works is your employer will match, right? And you can get on plans at subsidized rates, from my understanding. Again, I'm not an expert, but yeah, it's a lot more expensive to have. Right now, that's not horrible, I don't feel like, but I have friends who are employed to big corporations and it's half of that. I think my brother's is half of that as well. And he's only a couple years younger than me. So it's gonna cost a lot more for insurance. It's gonna keep going up every single year. That's why I have a high deductible plan, because I'm really just trying to, I don't know how many times I'm gonna circle this. I'm just having a lot of fun over here. But I'm trying to protect myself with insurance against something horrific. Because of my health situation, yours might be completely different. The lower your deductible, typically the more expensive it's gonna be. One thing I want you guys to research, something that's called an HSA. That's a health savings account. And there are gonna be some limitations on this in terms of what your minimum deductible is as a single person or a family. And also, it's going to limit you in terms of how much you can contribute to this account per year. This is based on 2019. I know in 2020 this is increasing, but essentially what this account allows you to do is make tax-free deposits into this account, and it helps to lower your federal taxes, from my understanding. So I do believe there's income restrictions, okay, for this HSA account, because I don't have one, and I think the reason I don't is because I make too much money. But I should look into this. But that is a great option to be able to lower or to save some money with your health expenses and whatnot, because you could fund these accounts and then pay it out as it goes. And I believe once you reach 65, then you could pull it out or something. Do your research on it. I'm not an expert with this, but just a great idea to keep in mind. And this is the best tip of this video that I'm gonna give you guys right now. For all my young guns on Bumble and Tinder, this is what you got to consider. I'm just kidding. Marry the right person. This is like half joke and half like I'm dead serious. If you are self-employed and you marry somebody who's self-employed, I'm not an expert, I'm not a lawyer, those health insurance costs are going to be pretty high. I know that there's some benefits if one person in the marriage has really good insurance. I believe that you could jump on their insurance. I don't know exactly, but I have friends who are self-employed and are married, and they jumped on their spouse's insurance. So you definitely save a little money like that. But that's a breakdown of the insurance. Again, don't forget, guys, I'm just a guy on the internet. This is my experience, entertainment purposes. Do your research, talk to a broker, consider your situation, look at the high deductible plans, look at an HSA, and be careful when you're swiping. So with that being said, keep on picking a bag of money, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.